Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How was your week?
Good. I'd say it went by pretty fast. Been so busy, it's been like a blur.
I'm sure. I know last week we talked a lot about your puppy and the idea of whether or not you'd be able to keep it or you're going to have to give it away. I know you mentioned that you were going to try and speak to your landlord and your boyfriend. Were you able to do any of those things? Have you made any progress with this?
No, I'm kind of not good at being assertive. Um, I tend to be shy, and I think it's in moments when I'm not confident in like the result because I get so worried and anxious of like, oh my god, is it gonna work out? Is it not gonna work out? Versus a time where I know I'm right, it's gonna be the way I say it is, and I'll be glad to speak my mind. But when it comes to the unknown, I'm very timid, so I haven't spoken to my landlord. He's scary. He's just an old Portuguese man that is not the friendliest, and he would have no problem saying, "You guys have to go." And as I mentioned last time, I didn't want to affect my mom because it wasn't her choice. It was given to me. Like I don't want to just have us displaced. Like I need a home, obviously. Um, so yeah, I definitely did not talk to him. I didn't really talk to my boyfriend either. Yet again, because I just feel like we're stuck in a bad place where we don't know what to do, and we're like, we just want to keep the dog. We both are equally responsible. Like we'll take turns taking care of him. Like, if I'm at school right now, he has him. If he's at school, I'll go and feed him, walk him. Like we have like our little setup worked out pretty well, but it's just the fact that the dog was meant for me and for me to benefit the most from him and having like a companion to de-stress with or have a moment to relax because I suck at relaxing. I'm always like on edge or like if I'm super busy and then one day like I don't work tomorrow or have school tomorrow, then I'll be like, oh my god, all this free time, what the hell can I do next? Like it's like a constant like ball of energy, which is not energy because I'm always exhausted, and then I feel like I just like can't breathe because I'm like, okay, you need to keep doing something or you're not being productive or you're not getting stuff done or you could have done this or that, but then I also don't always use the time wisely. Like okay, we need to go food shopping, or I need some shorts, like summer clothes, like I'd rather go do that. It's not like I'm okay, I'll just do some homework ahead of time. Like I guess it's the on edge feeling I kind of like sometimes where I'm like procrastinating my work and I end up doing well, but I also think I'm making my stress a lot worse by being like, oh my god, I have to do this and this and this and work, and it's a constant cycle of mine that I feel like I can't get out of.
Has it always been like that for you, or is it something recent?
I would say part of it started when I was in undergrad because, I'd have class, I'd have some free time to do my work, eat, whatever, and I was constantly going out. But that was the motivator to be able to go out with my friends at night. It's like, get your work done, do this. And even if I had it last minute, like I always know I can get it done, but then I always feel the stress of not completing it. And don't get me wrong, there's rare occasion where I'll do something so ahead of time and I'm like, so easy, I'll get it done right away. But because I can get things done like that and I do pretty well in school, I feel like I forget that it causes me to feel that way.
So, I mean, for some people, procrastination, is a positive for them. It's not a bad thing. But for you, you feel like it's a bad thing because you get such built up anxiety in procrastinating?
Currently, yes, because now it's like I work, go to school, and I'll do like babysitting on the side versus I got into that cycle when I was an undergrad, but I only had school.
Right.
So it's like, I can do it, you know, but now it's like, oh wait, you have a whole hell of a lot more responsibility on my plate that I'm like, I need to snap out of it, but it's been my cycle and like for the years that I've been doing that I don't know how to snap out of it.
So procrastination has been an issue for you when it comes to school. What other places in your life has it affected?
Definitely confronting people or telling somebody how I truly feel, if it's like sensitive on either end. Because if like somebody pisses me off or somebody does something to someone I love, I have no problem flipping out and being like, you know, screw you, who the hell do you think you are to speak that way, or this is wrong, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
So it's all depends on the moment, I guess, and who it is or how important it is. And like I said, knowing that if I'm like have a chance at being right versus not being right, I'll just stay shut.
Quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a great thing is that you're aware of that. Like you have that insight, you know, like this is how I am. I mean, I think that's the first step towards making any kind of change is when you actually are aware that it impacts you in a negative way. Do you mind doing like an activity just to play this out a little bit, see where it goes? So I'm just curious. Like, I'd love for you to be able to like role play with me, like how, like what you might say to your landlord about the dog, and then what you know, what I guess you can role play with me. I mean, I could be the landlord, or you could do both, and you could, you know, you could be the landlord and yourself.
I guess you could pretend to be the landlord.
Okay.
I'd probably be just like this, kind of stuttering and just trying to find out the words. I would probably just say I got a dog. You know, I've grown attached to it. It's really meaningful to me, and it's helping me kind of calm down a little bit. I know you can't have pets here, but I've been living here for so long, and you know, my mom and I have always been good tenants. My mom helps clean the whole building around, like she's always on top of everything. We've never had an issue, like we're very cleanly. And he wouldn't come in contact with other people besides me and my mom, and there's not much that he would not do to, you know, I guess, like, it would not come in his way, like, it wouldn't interrupt, not him, you, it wouldn't interrupt you, it wouldn't be such a big disturbance to the building or anything. I wouldn't know what else to say to try to advocate for myself.
No, I think that what you're saying is good. In my head, I'm just thinking, like, in my head, like, what if you said, there'd be no point in lying and saying you didn't have the dog. Because then he'd just be like, no.
Right? There'd be no chance.
Yeah. I really don't know how to role play. That little scenario just backfired on me. Because in my head, like, I wanted to hear what you would say, because I think sometimes just saying it alone is helpful. You know what I mean? To get your ideas and thoughts together. And I mean, and thinking about it, like, what's the worst thing that he could say? Right. Which is like the worst thing for you to have to hear. But like, I always like try to, like, you're not gonna die from no. You're not gonna, you know, drop dead of a heart attack. Like, it would be awful. But at the same time, then you can come up with other alternatives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, trying to avoid hearing no.
Totally. I totally get that.
I don't want to deal with my feelings after that or during that, or if he were to be a rude jerk like I say he is, it just makes me uncomfortable, and I just like, I don't like to feel uncomfortable. I don't like to not know where things are going. I'm like anal. Like
Yeah.
I need to have everything planned out.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing this time, or this is what's gonna happen next week. Like I kind of have everything always laid out. So not knowing what's gonna happen with my dog is just not settling with me well.
Yeah. And I can see why it would cause a lot of anxiety, because you're saying you're a person who, all your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, like
Yeah.
you have a plan, and this is like, there is no plan right now.
Yeah, so that just has me worried. Like, I haven't been sleeping. I like wake up and I try to think of, oh my god, what can I do? What's gonna happen? And then try to fall back asleep. And if my boyfriend and I do kind of talk about it, it's not in depth. But
What do you talk about?
about like, like who's gonna watch him this time? Are we doing this? Like we're both so busy, or both in school. Like, how are we gonna work it out for the week?
Does he know that you're trying to pursue with your landlord to have the dog stay with you?
Yes, he is totally on board with that, but he's also like hesitant, just like me, because he knows like he's the one who gave me the puppy. He's the one that kind of caused the commotion in my life. So that's why I try to like not, not come at him, but like try to say things that might make him feel bad, or like make him more stressed out, because I'm like the one that gets stressed in the relationship. He's more calm and laid back, like we'll figure it out, like don't worry. And I'm like, I'm worrying because we don't have it figured out, and I'm the person who has it all figured out in a sense. So I'm just, I would say, feeling overwhelmed and like just not 100% happy. And I know like if my dog was with me and able to be by my side and continue to be in my life, I'd be a happier person, because he's my comfort, and I just like really benefited from his presence and getting him. And it's like I said, my whole family just itself felt like it got happier, and like it kind of united us all, because we're not all that close. So like Bruno kind of gave us a motive to get together. So that's why I don't really talk to my boyfriend, because he kind of gave us all a little bit of joy, but not at the best moment, but it's still not a totally negative thing aside from him not living with us.
And it has to be hard, like feeling like you're carrying this burden by yourself.
Yeah, because like my mom will say, well, you guys shouldn't have gotten a dog so erratically, like, we can't have dogs here, blah, blah, blah. But, like, in the moment, we're like, oh my god, like, this dog is perfect, like, literally knew he wanted us, like, it was just a connection we thought was dog and us, like, so it was kind of unavoidable. And, like, sometimes when I get stressed out about the puppy, and I'll express it to my family, they'll come in and be like, we told you, you guys shouldn't have done that, you guys needed your own space for that. And like, I try to be respectful and not lash out, but like I'm like, oh my god, I freaking know, like I know what he did wasn't perfect, but it's not the worst thing in the world ever.
Right.
Like, it's just a shitty situation.
When you, so it sounds like you have a lot of ideas about what you should do, but you haven't yet put them into action. Are you giving yourself like a time frame? Like, by this time I need to make sure I've done this, or?
Well, since I work at school, I'm off from that job. So my goal would be to get everything kind of settled out before school starts, because I won't be around so much because I'll be working, and then, you know, I have school in the fall as well. And we just want to give our dog consistency because he's so little and he's learning, that I'd rather just try to get him settled as soon as possible. So that, like, if he does get, like, thrown off in any way, like, I have time to actually be with him and be like, oh, you know what, I can't work today because, like, he's giving me a hard time, or, you know.
So, let's say the dog would stay with you. What would it look like when school starts for you? Like, would the dog still be would he just stay at your house all day and then?
Yeah, well, my mom is, like I said, totally on board. So I would obviously feed him in the morning and take him on a walk, and then she would take him out again during the day whenever she had time. And then by the time the school day's over, I can go back and take him for another walk or just play with him, see him, and once I was home, I'd be back with him. So, like, my mom being home is super helpful versus my boyfriend's house. His sister's off from college, so she's able to help out if we ever need it, or his dad has been a very big support. But his dad and mom also work. So, like, or, like, my boyfriend's at school and work, so, like, sometimes there's not someone there. And his sister's not always going to be there. Exactly. So then I'm like, my house is better. My mom's, like, retired and home already. Like, we can give him more attention. Or, like, my niece and sister will come visit the dog, take him out of his crate. Like, it's not like he's going to always be there alone. You know?
Does your landlord allow people to have cats?
No
So
pets
no
at all.
anymore.
Like, we have a goldfish, but goldfish doesn't do anything. You
I
know?
was just thinking because the dog is so small. He looks like he's smaller than even a cat. You know.
Yeah, he's under 5 pounds right now.
Yeah.
The biggest he can get is 6 to 8, which is looking like he's going to be on the small side already. So we're just hoping. And, you know, it's like, even when I go out and, like, I see dog things, I try not to buy so much because, like, I'm so excited. New puppy, like, it's like a new member. But it's hard not to get excited, and it's also like, should I really be spending money or buying this? Because what if he's gone? What do I do with this? Like, or, you know, if I give him to someone else, like, they're gonna name him something else. Like, got him all this cute stuff. Like, I spoil him like he was a real, like, niece or nephew of mine, like I do. You know, and, like, in my head, I already created a space, like, what I'm gonna do, like, put little paw prints on the wall, like, got a wooden gate, like, perfect so he can be out free, but, you know, not getting into trouble because he's not to be trusted yet. You know, I'm trying not to get invested, or, like, my boyfriend's, like, teaching him tricks, and he's doing paw and sit, stay, like, he's learning pretty quickly now that he's getting older, and I'm like, oh my god. Or, like, sometimes, like, when he sees over there, I'm just like, is he gonna think, like, that's his person? Like, it's mainly my dog, but obviously we share the dog. But I'm thinking, like, oh no, is he only gonna respond to him? Is he, like, you know, not gonna listen to me? Like, does he think that's his real owner and it's on me because I had to, like, give him back over there so that I can get things settled? So, like, that's a fear of mine. Like, that gets me sad. Like, the other day I broke down and I was just like, what are we gonna do? Like, you know, I was like, I don't want to get attached to this dog. Like, it's my biggest fear. I don't like to, you know, get attached to anyone really. It's like, if they're gone.
Attached.
Yeah. I say I try not to, but I definitely am.
You're very much attached. I mean, I can just tell by what you're sharing with me, and, you know, you can see how your face lights up when you're talking about it and creating this little space for him. I mean, it's, like, really cute. I mean, I think that the biggest obstacle right now is facing the landlord. And once you have your answer from him, then you can go to the next plan. You know what I mean? It's like that's what you need.
Scared.
Of course.
I don't.
Yeah. because you don't want to hear no.
Yeah, and I just like
And
I'm
just
not
talk.
comfortable with him. I just, and I can't make my mom advocate for me either. Like that's just not her responsibility, you know. So I don't know.
Is there other ways you can communicate? Sometimes like just calling on the phone is a little like scary, or face to face is even worse. Like, is there some other way you can communicate that?
I'm not sure if he has like an email or anything, but I guess I could call. But then, I assume he'd want to see the letter of some sort saying he's mine, that I own him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Are there other
Or maybe
people in his life you can go through other than him? Like, because he owns the building.
his daughter, but his daughter's also like a not so friendly person. So it's like a line of not friendly people that you don't want to talk to, because if you like do something they don't like, they'll be like, all right, bye. Like they'll literally just toss you out for no reason. And my mom actually told me that somebody had like bunnies or something, like some pet, which is outrageous, I understand. And he was like, you have a month to leave. Like the pets are not allowed here. So I'm afraid that he's just gonna be like, oh, you already have a pet, like, you didn't even go through me, like, what if that backfires, like, just because it makes me more worried, the fact that he kicked somebody else out.
So, have you ever looked into what the tenant rights are?
No.
Like, you might want to, like, in order to ease your fears a little bit. I mean, landlords have rights and tenants have rights, and you pay him, and you do have a lease.
Yes.
So you have a lease that you sign like every year, you redo it, right? So you might want to call like, your local. There's actually like organizations that help tenants know their rights, because I don't think that the tenant could just say, you broke because first of all, you're not breaking the lease, you're approaching him. So in my mind, like rationally thinking, by you asking, he can come search your house. The dog's not there. You're saying that this, you could word it like that, I was gifted a dog. I know the rules here. I haven't brought it into the house because I wanted to talk to you first. Like that kind of thing. Because I can't see him just being like, oh, you have a month and you have to leave. Like, I think that as a tenant, you have more rights. I mean, people sometimes stay in their apartment forever, like, months and months and months, until the landlord takes them to court and does all these things. So I'd love for you to get more information about that, because that might help ease your worry about him just being able to be like, you're out. And on the flip side of it, how long have you lived there?
I've lived there my entire life.
So
24 years.
See that? Okay, so in that time, I mean, obviously he values you and your family, right? Even though he might be a not so nice guy. I mean, in all that time, your family has raised you, and you mentioned a sister you have, right?
Yeah, I have two sisters.
Right.
We've all lived there.
Right. So, I mean, it seems like you're not just some fly-by-night family that's lived there for 6 months and now you're like, can I get a dog? I mean, you've been committed to being there, and you've paid this man rent for 24 years. It's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I hope.
And maybe he, as nasty as he may come across, or his daughter, maybe they'll actually value the fact that you went to them to say, this is the situation, I just want to know if we could do this.
If it's possible.
Would you be willing to, like, or are you able to say, like, even offer giving like money, like, you do pet security or something when you've been there for so long, just to offer that as a suggestion?
Yeah, of course, it depends, like, on the cost. If, like, I wouldn't want them to take advantage just because
Right.
this new member has been added to our list,
Yeah.
but you know, I just am fearful. I am super duper fearful of what's gonna happen, or what could happen. I feel like the second I even say, "Hey, I have a dog," they're just gonna be like, "No, like, what do you mean?" Or like, lash out on me maybe. But I mean, I guess I could look into like laws. That was a good idea. I don't know if maybe like there's someone that can advocate. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's like an idea. I guess I don't know. I'm also trying to think like if worst comes to worst again, like could I maybe really move out? Could I not move out? I say I can't because I don't make a lot of money. Like I only work when there's school, and I don't get paid on holiday breaks or any break, pretty much. So that'd be a struggle. But I know my boyfriend's kind of like that's one of his goals is to get us to move out and eventually together. And I'm just like, maybe this is like a time where we might have to.
Does he work?
Yeah.
Does he work full time?
No, he works part time because he goes to school as like right now, and then I'm just trying to think like, is my dog worth me potentially struggling and getting stressed out worse and being anxious about a whole bigger level of problems if like I were to move out with him? Or...
Have you guys sat down and like actually done the numbers to see if you could do it?
No. Well, we can only imagine it's going to be a lot of money because we live in Westchester, and especially like I live in Sleepy Hollow and he lives in Briarcliff, so they're both areas where it's not cheap to live in general. So I don't.
Would you look outside those neighborhoods to get a place to live?
Yes, I mean I'm such a Sleepy Hollow girl. Like I've lived here my whole life, so I don't know. Like, I mean, I'd be open to it if it's just reasonable in price and like it's something we can manage. And like, of course, if our dog can come, that'd be like the biggest plus. But I don't know. It's also the thing. It's like we're still young, and like if we break up and one of us gets stuck, like who leaves, who stays, or oh God, what if someone can't make their half of the rent? Can you back me up type thing?
Yeah.
And like just the financial part is the stress, and I know that can affect people's relationships. Other than that, like if we had the money, like we'd be fine. Like we stayed together for like a week or two and we've been fine. Like of course we have our little bickers, but like I don't ever imagine me like not speaking to him because like our relationship's just pretty strong in that sense where we both really care. But
how long have you guys been together?
A little over a year. Yeah, we went to high school together, but we never spoke. We just kind of knew of each other from afar, and then we saw each other at the gym.
Oh, how funny!
Yeah, and then we reconnected in that sense. Not really reconnected because there was no connection back then, but we knew of each other, and that's why that's where our bond started. But never in my life did I think this person's gonna get me a dog. Like to me, a dog's like any animal. Like is such a precious gift to someone. So I think the fact that life's just threw me this curveball is what like is really taking a toll on me, and the fact that like it's affecting my sleep is just.
Because you wake up thinking about it.
Yeah, or like I'll go to sleep and I feel like negative. Like I'm like, oh, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna have to give him up. Definitely, that's what's gonna happen. Like I'm just gonna have to face it. And I don't really want to face that. So it's just like.
So you gave yourself a time frame that, like, between now and before school starts, you need to. It sounds like the first step you need to do is discuss this with your landlord.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking that maybe sometimes like writing out what you'd say might help you feel more comfortable with it, or because you can envision it, you know, and like write it out and then read it, like picture yourself actually doing it, and then you sort of have like like once you write out the way you want it, you'll have a script, so to speak, of like how you want to say it.
Oh, so like write what plan to say to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And then like read it over and over just to see if like it's something you're comfortable with, if it's how you want to word it, like I already have the dog, or someone got me the gift and the dog is staying with them, like just what you think is the best way to word it, not to freak out your landlord so much, but you're still being honest and getting your point across. And then once you have that, like just reread it over and over again and picture yourself actually doing that. I mean, no matter what, it's still going to be scary, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's the first thought I had in my head. I was like, I'm going to be scared to do that.
Even you're going to be scared just to even write it out?
No, to write it out, no.
No,
I wouldn't
but
say
to say it,
just
to
to
talk.
actually follow through and
Yeah.
go to the office or make the phone call and be like, hi, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you could look it over or something,
Sure.
see if it flows
Yeah.
nicely.
And
just
maybe
'cause-
do it and bring it in and like say it to me like I'm the landlord.
yeah, I think that would be
You know,
helpful. Like, right now, role playing was really helpful. I just haven't thought about it that much for me to actually know what I could say or what will sound, I guess, most appealing,
Right.
potentially, to him.
I think that's a part of it, is having that plan, like not feeling like you're fumbling for words, or oh crap, why did I say that? I should have said this, or you know, it's just getting your thoughts out and just putting everything together.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Especially because, like I said, I'm kind of don't know what to say when I confront someone or how to
Yeah.
say it. I think that's really useful.
And if you do it by phone, you can have your paper, it's like your script, you know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and avoid like the confrontation, the eye contact.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
You have your script, and you know, you can even have like, you know, comebacks to what you think he might say, how you'd handle it, you know, and just be able to work through it that way.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a really good idea. 'Cause knowing me, I think of the scenarios of what could happen, or if he's gonna be like aggressive or like arrogant only, and like that's what I think of, like the attitude I'm gonna receive, and
It's
how
not
I'm
so
gonna
much about him saying no, it's his attitude. I mean, of course, saying no
saying
is like,
no, yeah,
ugh.
it's top one, but the attitude after it, just because I know they have a rep being nasty to people, is what freaks me out.
So maybe that's definitely like, maybe write out something, you know, work on writing what you want to say and make it the way you want it. And then, you know, I think next week, let's definitely talk more about like how to deal with difficult people, you know, and ways that you can prepare yourself for him being negative, and so that you're not internalizing like his reaction to something that might him being a grouchy old man may have nothing to do with you asking to have a dog. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
not
like
taking it personally.
working through it that way, and like so that we can try and help alleviate some anxiety that you feel with that. You know, ultimately it is his choice, you know, and I'm here for you, you know, God forbid he says no, I'm here. There's, you know, we can work together in terms of what's next and how to help you cope with the loss if it comes to that. But who knows, he may surprise you, and then you're going to kick yourself saying, I should have asked a month ago. What is it, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't know until we ask. So maybe that's something we can definitely do next week. But if you're comfortable writing that, like note, you know, what you'd like to say to him, that script, do that, and then you know we can talk more about it next time we meet.
Yeah, I can agree on that. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Good luck, and I'm here if you need anything.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good week. Bye.